Okay, we're recording and I am taking my Revitalizing Health Talk to the internet. I am Jenny Hughes, and if you had told me, if you had come to me 10 years ago and said to me, Jenny, in 10 years you're going to be standing in front of audiences talking about health and wellness and healing, I would have thought you were maybe a little crazy. This is funny. Technology. Cue next slide, please. That's because 10 years ago, I was taking a little break from my engineering career. I had been working in the semiconductor industry for about 10 years, and I wanted to stay home with my kids. So I was home raising young kids and really starting to struggle with life. I was struggling in my marriage. I was struggling with how I felt. My oldest child really had some behavior issues that sent me on all kinds of journeys to try and find help. And that was the point in my life when I really started in on a journey of personal development and self-discovery. I worked with a life coach who really helped me a lot. And one of the biggest things I learned is that I was not going to be able to get through my life on logic alone. That had gotten me to a place where I was like, okay, I did everything I was supposed to do. Why am I miserable? I found out that creativity and intuition are an important part of life, especially if you want to have a satisfying and fulfilling one. So I got into life coaching myself. I really found a passion for working with people one-on-one, and I was certified in intuitive coaching and also in a program that uses EFT tapping to help people uncover and clear hidden blocks to success. Then my journey, because we can't stand still, now can we? My journey led me into the really fascinating world of healing facilitation. And that is what I want to talk about tonight, why it's important, and what the heck is it? So when I talk to people and they ask me what I do and I say, I'm a healing facilitator, I get some funny looks. So what the heck is healing facilitation? To really be clear and answer this question, we have to understand the difference between curing and healing. Our society is very geared towards teaching us to go find a cure. Curing is when you go visit a practitioner, say a doctor or a chiropractor or an acupuncturist, and you have a specific problem that you want them to fix, and they prescribe a pill or a therapy that is going to fix that problem for you so that you can go back to living life the way that you were living it. Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm not going to bash on doctors or any other kind of healthcare modality. I believe they all have their place. And God forbid you were in a horrible accident. Thank goodness we have access to the incredible wizardry that the medical profession has now to put people back together, you know. And sometimes we have an acute infection where a medication really is the best course of action for a person. I would not tell you to stay away from doctors. In fact, I recommend that people have a good relationship with their doctor, especially when they're embarking on a healing journey. So that brings me to, well, what is healing? If it's not curing, healing is actually an inner journey. More and more people are starting to recognize that our bodies are an incredible machine that also has innate intelligence. Your body knows better than anybody else what you need. your symptoms and diseases, they are not meaningless. Like we've been taught to just, oh, get rid of that. No, your body is trying to talk to you, and it does it through symptoms. It tells you what you need. I mean, take the simple example of you get hungry when you need to eat, you get thirsty when you need to drink, you feel tired when it's time for sleep. Your body is communicating with you all the time. Now, we are really good at ignoring our bodies, right? We have these agendas where, oh, I've got to get this done and this and this. We think we know what we need to do, and we'll completely ignore our body if it's telling us to stop. But it keeps talking, and if we ignore it enough, it will start getting louder. So where am I? So symptoms have meaning. And here's an interesting thing that I've learned. Humans actually need progress in order to feel satisfied. Did you know that? Like, to feel happy, we actually need to be moving forward in our personal development. And that's where healing comes in. And healing is not something that somebody else does for you. I kind of almost cringe when someone says that they're going to go and they're going to get a healing done on them. No, it's your work to do. If you were doing all your child's homework for them, how are they going to progress? No, they have to do the work. It's the same in healing. That said, we are not meant to do any journey. We're not meant to do a healing journey all by ourselves. We are humans, and humans need other humans. We need human care. We need human touch. It's important. And tonight I want to talk about why healing is the emerging center of healthcare. Why do we need healing? Because our healthcare system is broken. Oh my gosh, do you know that for the last 3 years that life expectancy has been dropping? That seems weird, right? Given all of the medical wizardry that we have at our disposal. And, you know, I think of the US as a pretty well-developed country, and yet we rank 64th in the world in life expectancy. What? There's 63 countries that are doing better than us in life expectancy? That got my attention. And then this alarming piece of information that taking the correct drug in the correct dose, this means like nobody made any mistake that anybody could figure out, that kills hundreds of thousands of people per year. And the Journal of American Medical Association in 1998, they reported that it was the 4th leading cause of death in the US. Taking the correct drug in the correct dose for the correct diagnosis, killing people. Wow. And then there is this little over-the-counter medication issue that I really want to bring to your attention, because we are really led to believe that, oh, if it's over the counter, then it's safe. Well, I'd like to tell you a little story. Let's take the specific example of medicines like Advil and Motrin. They are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, ibuprofen. And what they do is they inhibit platelet aggregation, which causes bleeding. They block the body chemicals that normally dilate the blood vessels leading to the kidneys. And what this means is decreased blood flow to the kidneys, which means lack of oxygen to the kidneys, which causes the kidneys injury. Now, a few years back, we had an alarming health crisis with my dad. We found out that he had an egg-sized tumor on his kidney. And in the process of figuring out what do we do about this, what kind of surgery, and is he going to have to go on dialysis? It's a really scary experience. But what came out of that was that he had been taking Advil on a daily basis for like 10 years. Because, hey, we are led to believe that that is safe. But no, this was causing damage to his kidneys, and a tumor was allowed by his body to grow on his kidneys. So if you don't take away anything else from this presentation, please question the over-the-counter medications and their safety. From the New England Journal of Medicine in 1999, they said that these type of drugs were conservatively causing 16,500 Americans to bleed to death, making that the 15th leading cause of death in the US. So don't assume that your over-the-counter medications are safe, okay? The next question, well, how do you facilitate healing when you are a healing facilitator? Well, healing begins with the nervous system. Most of us have heard of the sympathetic nervous system, that when you are triggered into fear, something is scary, a tiger is chasing you, you go into stress response. Your body prepares for fight or flight. And what it does when it's preparing for that is that all the blood flow is directed away from your organs, away from the center of your body, out to your extremities so that you are ready for that fight or to run away. And what that means is that you don't have many resources for resting, rejuvenating, digesting, and healing. Okay, and so the sympathetic nervous system is fantastic when you're in real danger and can enable you to get to safety. But obviously, we don't want to be in stress response all the time. What we want to be in most of the time is parasympathetic nervous system, where your body is able to rest and rejuvenate, digestion goes smoothly, and it's able to heal the parts of your body that need attention. The problem in our culture is that chronic stress response is rampant. We have super busy lives. Our agendas keep us feeling like what we have to do is a higher priority than how we feel. Some of the medications out there will actually trigger us into the stress response. But what I want to talk about tonight is the chronic stress response that's caused by the unconscious tension that is held in your nervous system. What that does is it causes something we call adverse mechanical cord tension. That means that your spinal cord is being stretched or twisted, and the communication in your nervous system is being compromised, compromising your ability to heal. So effective healing facilitation is coming from care for the spine. This is an important concept in healing facilitation, that your biology reflects your biography. What does that mean? I didn't know what that meant when I first saw that. So looking at this timeline, we go through life and we have experiences that bring us joy. That's the green, happiness and joy. And then we have the experiences that don't feel so good, traumatic experiences that cause us a lot of stress, the especially difficult ones that our brains don't know how to deal with, especially when we're children. Those get somaticized, those get stuffed into our body. So over time, what happens is the more tensions, the more experiences that are stuffed into the body, the more defended the body becomes. The tension loads up in the body, the optimal functioning of the nervous system is disrupted, And you end up with more and more defensive posture, stress physiology. So if you see the picture of the man on the right-hand side, he is hunched over. He's in this defensive, is protecting organs, this hunched over posture. And if you can imagine what's happening to the spinal cord in this scenario, it's getting stretched, right? And when you stretch the spinal cord, that puts the nervous system into stress response. It causes the sympathetic nervous system to fire continuously. And eventually that leads to disease because you don't have the healing mechanisms kicking in on a regular enough basis. It's really a vicious cycle. And it's compounded by the fact that your brain is hardwired to focus on problems, and you get more of what you focus on. Law of attraction. This is where vitality comes into the picture. That constant stress response and the tension held in the body is a drain on your vitality. People think that they're feeling more tired and run down because they're getting older, but that doesn't have to be the default. Our bodies are stuffing these experiences, and they're using our vital energy to hold that tension. It's like an unconscious tension. And they're stored in our bodies almost like data files, if you will. They're stored there for later processing, because at the time it happened, the brain was not able to process what to do with that. So your vitality is being used to hold this tension. And really the goal of healing facilitation care is the revitalization of teaching the nervous system strategies for dropping that tension out so that the vitality can be used for your life, for creating a life that you love. Let's look at some just very basic neurology. Your brain cells are communicating with the cells of your body, and they're doing that through the nervous system. And the spine is the main conduit. The spinal cord is the main communication channel, and the spine itself is the protective casing around that communication channel. And we know that the central nervous system is the most important part of the body because it's completely encased in bone. Think about it. Your brain is encased in your skull, and the spinal cord is encased in your spine. That's how important it is. So the communication travels through the spinal cord, and good health really is a result of the optimal communication. When the nervous system is able to dial down the stress at the appropriate times and dialing up the parasympathetics so that you can rest and rejuvenate and repair, the body can repair itself. Now, if you have some gunk, some tension, the system is kind of dirted up, then you don't have very good communication going between the brain cells and the body cells. And that's where disease comes in. I'd like to do a little mind-body experience at this time. If you would please close your eyes, and you're going to overlap your palms. Take your hands and overlap your palms over your belly button. And I want you to breathe in your nose and out your mouth. And I want you to put your focus and your breath right behind your palms. So that area of your body that's right behind your palms, behind your belly button. Can you find any ease in there? Are you able to bring your breath and focus there easily? Just take notice. And if it doesn't feel good, if it's like, ooh, yeah, feel free to put your hands down. Okay, so take note of how much ease you can find at that spot. Now I want you to move your hands, still with your palms overlapping, move it up to your sternum, where your rib cage comes together. Same thing, bring your breath and focus to the area behind your hands. And see how much ease you can find there. Does this spot feel better than the belly button spot? Or does it feel worse? Which spot would you rather be in? Notice if there's a difference. Okay, now move your hands to your upper chest. Breathing in your nose and out your mouth. And again, taking notice. Can you find ease? Can you bring breath and focus to that area behind your palms in your upper chest? Or does it feel tight and constricted? Does it feel uncomfortable to be here, putting that focus there? And finally, over your eyes. So cup your palms. I don't want you to press on your eyeballs, just gently cup over your eyes, and you're going to bring that breath and focus to the area behind your eyes. What kind of ease do you find there? Or is it all stressed out? Which position do you like best? The important thing to notice with this exercise is that we have different amounts of ease. We feel different things in the different places of the body. Some parts of our body are a little bit disconnected because they've been stuffed with stuff that we don't really know how to deal with. This is an experiment that I want to share with you. It's called the Winsor Autopsies. So Dr. Henry Winsor at the University of Pennsylvania, he wanted to test the theory that there was a correlation between diseased organs and locations on the spine where there were misalignments. So he took 97 cadavers and he looked at the spines and he looked at the disease organs from those cadavers. And the results he found, what he found was pretty astonishing. There was a nearly 100% correlation between minor misalignments in the spine and the diseases of the internal organs. Now, I'm a visual person, so I threw in this slide so that we can see this visually. I'll move this thing out of the way. Okay, so the organs that had, oh, I took myself out of the slideshow. There we go. All right, so when he looked at the hearts that had heart disease, all 20 cases of heart conditions had the upper 5 thoracic vertebrae were misaligned. So let's look at this diagram of the nerves coming out of the spine. Here's the heart. And if you follow the nerves right in, guess what? Those align with the thoracic, the upper thoracic, T1 through T5 vertebrae. He looked at stomachs. All 9 cases of stomach disease had spinal misalignments in the mid-thoracic. And if you look here at the location of the stomach and where are the nerves that go to the stomach, they go to the mid-thoracic. He looked at the liver. Gosh, all 13 cases of liver disease had misalignments also in the mid-thoracic. Kidney disease, all 17 cases of kidney disease, there were misalignments in the lower thoracic. There's the kidney right here, and the nerves going to the kidney are going to the lower thoracic spine. That means that the primary root cause of disease is misalignments in the spine. And when you have misalignments in the spine, you have adverse mechanical cord tension on the spinal cord. You get stretching or twisting of the spinal cord. The tensions that are held in the body, the somatization that we were talking about earlier, those are what are causing the misalignments of the spine. They put force on the spinal cord and on the brain stem. The spinal cord is actually like pulling on the brain when it's in tension. Yikes. So what do we do about this? Well, the best strategy that I have found is the ELAN healing system. And what this system does is engage the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest, digest, and heal. The way it does it is through light contacts to the tissues surrounding the spine. These light contacts create neurological growth, meaning new strategies are developed by the nervous system for processing these tensions, for optimizing the tension in the nervous system. And what I mean by optimizing is that we wouldn't want to drop all the tension out of the nervous system. Like when I'm checking a spine, I want to feel like on a scale of 1 to 5, high would be too much tension and 1 would be too little of tension. Like you don't want no tension, then we'd just be like Gumby dolls. You want an optimal amount of tension, and you want the tensions in the musculature alongside the spine to be at the same level. You don't want to have a 5 on one side and then a 2 on the other side. That's going to torque the vertebrae. That's going to cause that rotational tension on the spine. So ELAN healing teaches the nervous system specific strategies for dropping the high tension and optimizing the tension in the whole system. And the really cool thing is that we are not focusing on problems. We're not focusing on whatever the person told us is going wrong in their body. We're actually looking for places in the body where there is wellness, where things are working. This ties in with law of attraction. Law of attraction states that what you focus on, you get more of. And so we don't want to focus on problems. We want to focus on wellness. We want to focus on what's working. And that's what the ELAN healing system does. And I want to note that no matter what else you're doing, you could have the best nutrition in the world. You could be exercising like crazy. But if you've got a high adverse mechanical cord tension going on in your system, you are still going to be promoting disease in your system. So care for your spine, I consider to be primary. Now, ELAN is a French word. It means energy, enthusiasm, and flair. I think it ties right in with vitality. And we use it as an acronym. It stands for Extraordinary Living, Advanced Neurology. This system is based on neurology. It's based on science. A little bit more about the promoting of the neurological growth. What the light touch does is it initiates communication to specific areas of the spine. So we're engaging that brain cell, body cell communication, and we're doing it in a way where we're engaging the communication that's working, and we're inviting the communication that isn't working, the lines of communication that are blocked or compromised, we're inviting those to come online. And what this does is it optimizes the neurological tone. So that means that the tensions are just right. They're not too high and they're not too low. They're not out of balance, creating rotation, torsion in the system. And here's something interesting that I learned. The shape, tone, and tension of your physiology matches the shape, tone, and tension of your life. I want you to think about that. Do you know anybody who is kind of a tense person and their life is going totally smoothly? No. My bet is that their life is kind of a mess. And that is because what is going on within you is reflected outside of you in your life. Very interesting concept. All right, so this neurological growth and this ELAN healing system, it improves your body language. It enhances your unconscious posture, your I've found for me, I've been much more likely to be aware when I'm like slouching over in front of my computer, and and that kind of feels uncomfortable, and it makes me much more conscious of my posture and keeping my spine in better alignment. Because when let me turn to the side, if you're hunched over looking at a screen, this is why it's important right now, because media is taking up. People are just in their phones and their tablets. We're hunched over, and your head is heavy. If you're sticking your head out when you're hunching over, that's putting a tremendous strain on your musculature, and it's stretching out your spinal cord. So you want to be very conscious about your posture. And people who are in the ELAN care are just more conscious of their posture. Your balance and coordination are improved. The sympathetic nervous system is dialed down, and the parasympathetics are dialed up. So that means your stress response is getting dialed down on a much more regular basis, and your mode of healing and digesting and resting, that is increasing. So your health increases. And you know what that leads to? More inner clarity. There's more clarity in your system about what you should be doing in your life. It creates better decisions and better choices. It's pretty cool. It increases the activity in your cortex, and it downregulates your hindbrain, your lizard brain. And what that means is that you have a much better ability to respond to situations rather than reacting like a prey animal, reacting like a lizard, right? It's an important distinction between respond versus react. Creates better relationships. Now, I could talk all day about ELAN, but what really speaks volume is the data. There is a 20-year history of quality of life research on this work that shows some profound results. On average, in the first 2 months of care, people experience improved physical comfort in their body, improvements on the order of 14.5%. That is just, I can't talk. Statistically, that is incredible. Mental and emotional states improve by 21.4%. And just to give you a little baseline on that, antidepressants will give you about a 1% improvement. Stress levels, they drop by almost 22%. Enjoyment of life, according to these quality of life research surveys, goes up by more than 10%. And quality of life ratings increase an average of 18%. When I first started being a healing facilitator, I was a little nervous to get my quality of life research results back. I thought, okay, so those 20 years, all that research, all these numbers, those were what my teachers are getting. But am I able to facilitate that kind of progress in my clients? And I've got to tell you, when I started getting the 2-month surveys back from the people who were in my care, I literally just cried because it was so profound. I realized, wow, I can facilitate these kind of results as well. And hey, if you find some kind of modality or practice that gets better results than this, I'd love to know about it. I have not heard of any that gets these kind of results. That's what makes this work really exciting. These are more of the results. I just shared with you the second survey ones. There are also profound results for 6 months in care and after a year in care. And we can talk, you can ping me to talk about those if you like. All right, at this point in the presentation, I like to take a moment to breathe. This has all been quite a bit of heady material. It's good to take a breath, to connect with your bodies. This slide is really for me, to remind me, okay, you have a body, breathe. It's a good opportunity to really connect with that part of you that knows how to find more wellness, that part of you that knows how to get more vitality and more clarity. Okay, to breathe. And we're almost done, by the way, too. So that's pretty cool. All right, here is my best practice healthcare pyramid. So I think we've established that the body has an amazing ability to heal. We've established that curing and healing is not the same, and that healing is the emerging center of healthcare, human care. So what this pyramid represents is what's important. At the base, what you want the most of in your healthcare is personal responsibility. This means listening to your body, developing strategies in your body that help you manage stress, that help you drop excess tension, that help you optimize tension. And the other reason you want this as the personal responsibility as the base, excuse me, is that it's the low cost option. Up here at the top of the pyramid, this is the high cost option. Okay, so personal responsibility, and you want help in your healing journey. You want a healing facilitator that is going to drive personal responsibility, okay? They're not doing the work for you. They are providing care and support and guidance, teaching you strategies that help you take this personal responsibility for your life and for your healing journey. Now, that's not to say that there aren't times when alternative medicine and Western medicine come in. Like I said, if you have an accident or if you have some kind of acute infection, then we're so lucky to have access to the amazing things that we do. But the most important thing should be the personal responsibility and the driving of the personal responsibility. The primary clinical goal of ELAN care is for an amazing life. That's why I picked this picture of my brother, because it just looks like an extraordinary life is represented here. And so the goal in an ELAN care is to reduce the tension on the spinal cord, to reduce that adverse mechanical cord tension. And the way that we tell we're making progress is through the indicators. And those include your heel tension, your eversion tension. These are some of the things that we do with practice members. Every time they have a visit, we are checking their heel tension. We're fussing with people's feet, and people actually really like it. Some people, it's their favorite part. We're checking the adduction and abduction stress in the legs. And then when we do the work, we're focusing on what's working and trying to bring more working strategies online in the nervous system. I'm going to take the chat down. Okay, so summary. Whew, we made it to the end. I covered the difference between curing and healing. That healing, you want to take that personal responsibility for your health and know that your body has an incredible ability to heal itself, and it is your friend. I mean, I think of my body as my best friend. It is guiding me to my best life when I listen to it and I make the changes that I need to make. That's what the healing journey is all about. And we talked about how life experiences can cause us to have this defensive posture, the stress physiology, which causes the chronic stress response and compromises your body's ability to heal. We talked about the goal of effective healing facilitation is really to see a reduction in a person's cord tension. I love to see my practice members move their vital energy out of holding tension in their body, and they start using it to create a life that they love. With that, we are at the point of Q&A. I'm going to go over to the chat window and see if there's any questions. Nope, no questions yet. Okay, back to the presentation. All right, so I say cheers to increasing wellness. Consultations with me are always complimentary. We can do it over the phone, but I prefer to do it in person. And if you schedule your consultation and initial assessment today, then you receive the assessment as well. So if you watch this after it's posted and you want to sign up for a consultation and initial assessment, I will honor giving both of those as complimentary, and that's a $75 value for you. I hope that this presentation has been informative and helpful, and I wish you much wellness and vitality. Thank you for watching. How do I stop the recording? Oh, yeah.